There has been lots of debate about exactly what killed the
local comic book shop.
I don't know what role they play in the future. I really don't. I don't have the answer for that, man. I don't know, and I don't know if at all, if any role. The difference between today's day and age and the previous generations is that oftentimes we were going to the comic book shop, not for back issues, but for new stuff. And that's how we were finding out about it. We were browsing it. It was the newsstand, right? We're telling you what comics were going to be out. Whereas to now, because of the internet, even before I left, I already knew what the fuck I was getting. So I'm going there, I'm picking up my shit. If I was browsing for back issues.
Yeah.
Right? If I wasn't going there like, what's on the shelf? Like we used to way back in the Gap. So the only thing really, unless I'm missing something, the main benefit outside of nostalgia that the comic book shop, if they're just selling, if their primary sale is modern comics, is, well, the customer has a way they can get the book without having to pay like shipping or some shit. But they're not going for discovery. They already know what books they're going to get. They're not going for the like experience. I don't think people are just hanging out at the bitch anymore. Not like that. There's no culture really around it like that, where, you might go, you'll be hanging out and there's some bros that'll come in and y'all talking shit. It's not really a thing as much anymore. So what the fuck are they there for? If the industry isn't like thriving on modern comic, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if comic shops start to dwindle out, or they have to, like, all of them, there will be no comic shops anymore. There will be games shops that are like selling comics. That may be the future. I don't have an answer. But you think of like the benefit that we got from the comic shop, it's not the same benefit that people are getting now because the way people consume media has fundamentally changed.
Well, you're assuming there is a local comic book shop. No,
that's a good point, man. There's none in my city. I live in one of the fastest growing fucking cities in fucking Texas, right north of it. There are no comic shops in my city.
All the ones in my
Not
town,
anymore.
like the nearest town, a few miles away, the nearest town all closed down. If I want to go into a comic book store, I got to go to Leeds, and in Leeds you got your Forbidden Planet, which is not a comic book store anymore. There is very little comics in there. There's no fucking back issues in there. It is literally just a manga and merchandise store now. Merchandise, t-shirts, various memorabilia to do with comic book characters. But there's barely any comics now in Forbidden Planet. I went to another Traveling Man. I went to Traveling Man. Exactly the same. Trade paperbacks, shitloads of manga, merchandise, barely any fucking new comics. Because new comics aren't selling, because they're all fucking shit. I asked the guy in Forbidden Planet, I said, look, because that was the last one I went into. I said, I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm looking for back issues. I want to go through back issues. Where's the best place that I can go for back issues? Because, and he went, really, the best thing for you to do for back issues is you got to go to a comic book fair. So that's when they come out. He said, but if you're looking in a shop, high street shop now, he said you'll be lucky. You'll be lucky to get back issues. That's fucking Leeds. And Forbidden Planet back in the day, when in the 90s when I first started collecting comics, Forbidden Planet was one of the places that I went to after my market store, which had back issues. I'd go to Forbidden Planet to go through their back issues.
Right.
To see what I could pick up there.
That's what
I was heartbroken. And then the only thing else that I nearly picked up, and I would have picked up if they had all 4 issues, but they only had 3 of the 4, was the reprints of Batman Year One, which my mate was with me. And so I was like, oh, if they got all 4 parts, I'll buy this for you, dude. Read it, but they only have 3 of the 4. I ended up not buying it because they only had 3 of the 4. And then I'd be like, I'll be fucking lucky to find the missing part in one of the other stores, and I didn't. So we didn't even bother going back because we didn't even find the missing part in another store to go, oh, let's go back and get the other 3. That's what the state of affairs was.
Bro,
this is why you need this Eric. This to me is why you need these campaigns, because customers are so starved of actually getting stuff.
Some enthusiasm, bro.
Yeah.
Because it's just not there, right?
So actually get excited about a comic event.
Right. That's what got lost. I don't know, bro, what role the comic book shops. I don't know what role they play in the future. I really don't. I don't have the answer for that, man. I don't know, and I don't know if at all, if any role. But because the only thing, if I'm talking about people, comic book shops selling modern new comics, the only benefit that I see again is like, okay, someone doesn't want to pay the shipping. I mean, in this day and age, it's like everybody's buying everything online. Like people don't really give a shit about that, as much as they had been in the past. So it's like that one thing that you're clinging on to, they're caring about a lot less.
It's got to be an incentive to go.
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be an incentive to go. So you either got to be fucking killing it. There was once upon a time when you would go and it was like an experience. It wasn't just, you were going, maybe you had a pull list, and maybe you were going to browse, which was part of the experience. Maybe it was, hey, you're going to have a little chat with the people that are there. You're going to talk comics and all that cool stuff. That's not a thing as much as it had been in the past at minimum, or it's just not a thing at all. If they're around, the comics are like an eighth of their shop. They have to make money doing other things because it's just not enough. It's not enough enthusiasm. It's not enough, which means there's not enough incentive for an actual customer to go there. I think we got to be prepared for a world that looks different like that.
If I was to sell comics, let's say I had the money, I was gonna sell comics, brick and mortar though. I wouldn't be a comic shop. It would be. You
wouldn't be around that long if it was.
There would be an element of comics for sure.
Yeah.
But I would also have a coffee shop element of it, a gaming element of it, where you could have consoles in cases, and you can rent a game,
like a hangout,
and sit there, or just hang there as part of getting a drink or whatever. Potentially even a mini cinema that has like old school nerdy films going on. This week we're showing Back to the Future Part 2. Next week we're showing Steel with Shaquille O'Neal. But there would have to be a social element to bring people in, and by bringing people in, whether or not they're going there for the coffee, whether or not they're going there for the video game stuff, whether or not they're going there for the cinematic stuff or the comic stuff, there is going to be something for people then to see and be like, oh, they do that, or have some arcade machines in there as well.
It's got to be something, bro.
You've got bring it into an area where there's going to be that social interaction, and one thing might lead to the next thing. Somebody could come in for the comics and stay for the coffee and the video games as well.
Or vice versa. Come in for the coffee and they're like, oh shit, there's some books over here. Well, I might as well grab a couple.
Oh yeah, I'll read this while I'm drinking my coffee.
Yeah, right.
Have a spinner rack that you can just take comics and sit down and read them, put them back. Some are going to get taken, of course they are. But just keep topping it up with some comics. You can pick up back issues for so cheap, some of them so cheap from the 90s, from the 80s. You just stick them on the spinner rack. They'll stick around for a bit. They'll get battered, whatever, but somebody can there drink the coffee and just not even have the pressure of buying. But that whole interactive element might lead people to that. And you've got your other forms of income that can supplement one or the other.
I think if there are to be shops that are trying to exist with comic books in their shop, they have to offer something else, because right now the industry is not in a good enough spot to just sell it. And the how people just consume media, for lack of better terms, is different. And it has to adjust. Every market's had to adjust, to be fair. Like, it's not anything new, right? Every market has had to adjust to the new demands, the increase in technology as well has been a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the day is probably just, hey, we're going to be a comic shop that only or primarily focuses on selling modern comics.
Done. You're done already.
Yeah, man, you've already set yourself up for failure. Thanks for watching. Right now, the Rippaverse is in the middle of our latest campaign, Yaira #1, which was written by the Saskas. Head over to Rippaverse.com, pre-order, and check out our first live-action trailer and the latest Rippaverse Studios production, Y'all Be Easy.